Well, welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Straight Up Integrity Real Talk channel. I'm your host, Lamar. Now, I did previously a video rebuking the black community with the toxicity and the stuff that we have. But this video, I want to give the opposite perspective. All of those that are just now coming in, thank you guys for tuning in to listen. And those of you that have not, please subscribe and share and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. There's another side. I need to talk about the other side. I always believe in bringing balance. So I want to talk about why the black community is upset, because there's many variations that I need to talk about. And before I get into that and start to really cook and break things down, because we want to ignore, because I gotta bring balance to this conversation, because if I don't, bring the balance, we'll get lost in in the conversations. I want to name off some really famous. I'll start off by saying that we're upset about many different things. I've had some expressions. One is the worst examples of us have been painted over the whole canvas of all of our faces and our lifestyles. That's one issue. Okay? Number two, those of us who have worked really hard to have a better self-image have not been recognized. Okay? We put Lil Wayne them up there, and then we say that's who we are. We let society and we let the entertainment, and black people, we're mad within ourselves, within our own community. There's things within ourselves we're upset about, but there's things on the outside that we're upset about that many people don't want to talk about. And we're upset that we don't see we don't see a positive picture of us anymore as far as family, and there's a lot of good families. There's a lot of good black families doing the work. I know a lot of them are close to me, black brothers and sisters that are doing phenomenal, that are great mothers and fathers, but they're not recognized. The best of us are not seen or heard or even recognized. And then it shows the world that the only black folks that are recognized are the ones that are the worst of us. That's the problem. When other cultures come in and critique our culture without really knowing us and not really getting to know who we are, where we from, what is going, not bringing a open mind of understanding. They come in with these stereotypical concepts and critiques with no knowledge or understanding, and then to to almost give themselves a pass to be racist, to hide behind, they use the worst examples of us to pacify just not liking none of us. That is a problem. And I told you guys, I'm the kind of pastor that I'm not afraid to talk about the issues, because we have issues. And I have no problem with a white brother addressing some of the issues in our black community. But I want you to be able to address issues in everything. If I'm going to correct the black community and address then I need to address everybody. That's another issue that the black community is struggling with. I've done reviews and interviews. I've had conversations. I know many different people from different structures, from prison all the way up to serving in the county courts or serving on I know all kinds of different backgrounds and black folks from different parts of the world. And this is something we need to talk about and have these I'm going to be conducting a panel about 4 or 5 of us men, my white brothers and my black brothers. We're going to be having a panel and we're going to be talking about some hard issues. I want to name some famous people before I start to get into more of the reasons why. So we have from 1964 to 1943, George Washington Carver. It was agricultural science that developed noodles products and crops and peanuts, soybeans, significantly boosting the southern agriculture, bringing in the farming. 1877 and 1963, we got Garrett Morgan, invented and created, and that had credited creating 3 light traffic signals, which are now standard traffic control. See, if we don't study who we are or what we do, we don't hear about these guys. I'm gonna tell you, and the reason why I'm gonna keep going, but that's another thing that the black community is upset about, is the ones who have made a big contribution to what we have. We don't see that in schools. We don't hear about it. It's not polarized. And so many of our black heroes that have died and have made our lives better and made inventions, nobody says anything about them. We have to dig. But when there's a white brother who does something, it seems like and it's really the enemy's tactic. It seemed like he's more praised. He's more lifted up. He's more pulled up. He's more elevated. And we've already come from a place where white men, this is not my indictment. This is what they are feeling. This is what the black community feel. We're already always unrecognized for the contributions and sacrifices that we give, but then a white brother comes and does something great and he's recognized. And when you think about how many black men have given their lives, have helped build this country, and in a lot of forms and ways still are, and not recognized or gave any honor to. That's what the black community is angry and hurt about. Where there's anger, there's pain. And that's where the disingenuousness that we as black folks still sometimes do. And I feel that way sometimes too. In certain areas of me being a father, a husband, a business owner, just many things. This is where nationally the issue is. And I'm going to break a lot of this stuff down. We have Frederick McKinley Jones, 1893 to 1961, inventor and entrepreneur who pioneered the first automatic portable refrigeration system for trucks, roadway cars, renovate food transportation. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. That's how we transfer our food. That's huge. We don't hear about that. Lewis Lattimore, 1848-1916, a prosthetic inventor of technical draftsman who improved the encapsulated light bulb, which is more durable carbon flammable, contributing significantly to the electricity of homes and cities. Okay, we don't hear. When we cut our lights on here in the house, we've got the LEDs now, all from this. We hear nothing. And a lot of our kids in our schools are not educating to hear these stories. What our mindsets be? Black brothers and fathers and sons, if we got to hear about an inventor that made the light bulb, electricity, like traffic signal, one that made soybeans and peanuts for that's awesome. So when you see Skippy and Jif, we be like, man. And I'm going to tie this up. Lonnie G. Johnson, 1949 to current. Inventor of the background of NASA, who invented Wiley Popper's Super Soaker water gun. That's very popular. I used to love them things. I used to love them old Super Soakers back in the day. Ones with the backpack and you go and squirt the bottle. That used to be, that was fun. Oh, look at here. Patricia Bath, 1942 to 2019. The ophthalmologist who invented the first laser device for removing cataracts. And see, this is recent. This is 2019. They're still using this technology now. This is just to name a few. To my sisters, my black sisters, the famous patient and U.S. patient is Martha Jones, 1968. The cornhucker. She was the one who invented a patient in 1989 for folding cabinet beds, for the folding cabinet bed. She invented that, sisters. So we need to, I want to encourage black fathers, because we can't leave nothing up to, this is where we mess up in our community, to educate our own kids, educate ourselves and educate our kids. And what's important is stop looking at Drake and Kendrick Lamar and all these football, basketball stars and think that's the end of our success. We got things that we have today that we are blessed with today. And this is not a black superiority. This is not, but when you have a low self-esteem mind, and when you have a spirit of not feeling relevant in a society, and you have educational systems, and you have things set up around you, paralysis set up around you to make you feel like you have no relevance. This is what the black community is upset about. Now, I rebuked us before because of our subscription to the worst of the worst of us. That's why I came so hard, because that's what's being polarized. Now, I want to say to my black brothers and my white brothers and sisters, I'm going to say to y'all, and I'm going to say to the black brothers and sisters, what y'all don't see is the hidden hand. There's a hidden hand in our culture that y'all ain't seeing, because we don't see also that when when we hear these stereotypes about black people being on welfare, there is more white folks on welfare than there are black people that is recorded. When you look at some of these other small towns and you do the numbers, and this, you go on welfare.com, on governmental, it'll show you the statistics. So when we don't research and we hear sound bites, we hear so many stereotypes, we just believe them to where we're offended. And we don't research information about us because we believe what everything they say about us. And what I mean by they are those who have a stereotypical mind. Not all white brothers and sisters are like this, but we don't see those guys. We don't see them. We see what is focused. We hear the voices that are louder, that make us, ignite us. We hear the worst. What do the white brothers and sisters see? The black folks who are the most ratchet, loud. Those are the ones that are getting the most attention. And the white brothers and sisters that are talking this crazy rhetoric about black culture, and they're pointing that out, and they're not seeing what's wrong with their culture, those are the ones that are getting all the attention. This is what we keep missing. We keep missing the hidden hand. Because I've seen some, and I'm going to say stuff, I've seen some white sisters on welfare with 4 or 5 baby daddies. But they're not being focused. It ain't just black women that are baby mamas. It's baby mamas in all kind of cultures. But because black women have been louder about being the focus of that image, that's what everybody they put that label on that. And this is what's contributed to the frustration in the black community. It's the unstuff that we don't want to talk about and we don't want to see, which is there, but they're not, but nobody's saying it or seeing it. We don't want to talk. And I feel like if we're going to talk about something, we need to get the facts all the way across. And we need to be objective to ourselves. We need to get rid of this degrading, pointing the finger at culture. Like, hey, because I come from a single parent home, but I'm a whole father. I'm taking care of my family. I know 2 other brothers, black brothers, that are taking care of one, that are phenomenal brothers. They're going to actually be on the panel. Not all black men are dogs out here having all these babies. When you got one man have 16 baby mamas, it ain't all these black men out here doing this. It's just a set few of them that are. And I need to set the record straight on that. Because there's different types of black men. Not all black men are out here hoeing around and out here running game, out here getting into trouble, running crimes. But the loudest of those that are doing it get all the attention and all the and they get all the press. They get the cover stories. That's what we're angry about. We're not gonna let the worst of us be our voice and our image. This is the problem. When you have guys like Tyler Perry polarizing the worst of us and the worst of black women too, made billions of dollars on selling the bad, worst image in the worst. I'm just being real. That's not true. You're not showing all of it. There's some good families. There's some families that are educated. There's some families that are taking care of their children. There's some black men that are taking care of other men's children. We're not talking about those guys, are we? This is what I want to talk about. We put a paintbrush on all of us that way. That's where the anger and the hurt is coming from. It's deeper than Charlie Kirk. And I need to balance this because I feel like without a balance, you only get an angry perspective. I had one brother call me a sellout because I spoke up. No, I was correcting the foolishness in our black community. You can call me what you want. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to get shot down like that, and I still stand on business, so I'm not taking back from that. No more than Trayvon Martin, a young kid with both parents got gunned down and Zimmerman got off. No different than that. I look at those as the same. We got to get rid of these racist connotations in our heart and say we represent Jesus. And you know what's really happening? I'm going to tell y'all, the Muslims and the Israelites are using this to capitalize. See, that's what's wrong with white people. Look what they're pointing at. Look how they raise up their idol little, look how they praise their boy. That's arsenal for Satan to use to keep pushing this stuff. So I'm going to tell you who my heroes are that I refrain that. I know a brother named Brother Kevin. He's a father and a husband. I love that brother. He's one of my heroes. Brother Hussein, a doctor. He's one of my heroes. William. Men that are holding up, standing on business. But see, these brothers, nobody knows these guys. And this is the problem with us. The ones of us that have a voice that are doing the right thing, we won't say nothing against it. Nobody knows we exist because we don't say anything. We don't bring focus and balance to these. We let these people get online and infiltrate and influence the cultures, influence images of us, influence how we should think and say and feel about other people and ourselves. This has been the problem for a long time. We let everybody else give us an identity, and then we get angry about the identity they gave us, but we don't say anything, and we got to prove them wrong. We got to show that we are not different, not for them, but for ourselves. I know I'm not no nigger. I know I ain't a coon. I know I ain't none of those things. So I don't have to get offended when somebody say that about me, because that's not me. Bible says, and so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And to my white brothers and sisters, and we got to talk about this. If you're going to talk about the black community and be honest, I'm all for that. That's true. But we need to talk about y'all too. You need to talk about what's going on in your community too. That's not correct. That's not righteous. Because there's a lot of abuse, sexual abuse in your community too. You know, I mean, you got a lot of things covered up in the family, just to protect the well-rounded image. I've lived this. I've seen it. I've watched it. This ain't something I saw or heard. To protect our reputation and our family name. That's real big in the white community. We cannot expose these darknesses in our family. We can't do that. We got to talk about why these guys go into federal buildings and blow up people. Coming from nuclear families, the guy that the little boy, the two kids that went into Columbine, where I'm from, Colorado, in Columbine, both of these kids had both of their parents. It wasn't that they came from broken homes, and they went in there and planned for months how they were going to blow up that place, how they were going to kill. Stuff was planned. So to talk about all these crimes from single parent mothers, when you got these kids coming out of these nuclear families, going out killing everybody, planning and bombing, becoming little terrorists, we don't want to expose that. We got to balance these conversations. We got to talk about all of the corruption. Because I don't mind you talking about the black community, but you got to talk about your communities too. That's where some of the frustration in the black community is bleeding out of. And those of us that are not on demon time and out here making the worst happen and doing the hard work are not being recognized. All this like the brothers that I know have helped people. They needed food. Going to there, donating, helped it. A lot of folks don't get nothing. And I take absolutely nothing away from our brother Charlie Kirk. But I know brothers I know who given their life, who've helped who've helped so many different people. And they don't hear nothing about them. Now take it, Brother Charlie is a public figure. So, I mean, that comes with that. But there's something deeper going on. And I wanted to take time to speak to that. A lot of our women have a mindset. And I want to tell you, my white brothers and sisters, it didn't just get this way in black community. This was a programming progression. You've got a boardroom of people that have control over the social media. They have control over what is being aired. They have control over the shows, what's being pushed. And what images of what they want people to see to be pushed out. I noticed they stopped letting movies or black TV shows that show nuclear families. I noticed that. They'll either have two men or two women together trying to raise children, but they don't want to see healthy black nuclear families. So that's not something the black community is doing. The gun laws. Black community don't have nothing to do with drugs, bringing the drugs in. Our problem in the black community, to those, we subscribe to the problem. That's where we get in trouble. That's where I hold us accountable. We go ahead and subscribe, but we're not the orchestrators of it. There seems to be a more higher respect. And I'm going to say this, Lord, I'm going to hit something, and I got to be fair. I got to be fair. I can't come down hard on my black brothers community and then can't address the white community too. There seems to be more of a moral image on with white preachers than there are black preachers. Instead of seeing who's holy and who's unholy. There seems to be less of a religious expectation, a religious threat. When you see guys like Joel Osteen, Peter Popoff, that's Joel. You know, these people just sit there and smile and laugh, make you feel all fuzzy, but they'll lie. So it makes it seem like white image in church is more relevant, more moral than a black preacher preaching holiness. And that's definitely not true. But because that's the focus, that's where the ugly's coming from. And there are definitely some righteous white brothers that I respect. But the focus is, we got white moralism. This is the image that Satan wants the black folks to focus on, to be offended at white brothers and sisters, and to show the white brothers and sisters the degradation, the worst of examples of black society to them, to get them offended at the black brothers and sisters. And y'all don't see the hidden hand. And I'm one of those pastors that's going to go right in on it. And we as black young men, black brothers, we are so hungry for respectful representation. That's where you see a lot of them running over there to the Hebrew Israelites and Islam, because they want to feel honored. They're looking for legacy and honor. Because they don't see bad images of Islam being put online. They don't see bad images of the Hebrew Israelites. You see what I'm saying? This is what's happening. We don't see Louis Farrakhan in no scandal or doing anything on wrongfully. We don't see no discredibility to the Islam nation. We don't see no disrespectful or discredited. You don't see Hebrew Israelites in no scandals or no craziness. They're out protesting and recruiting. But their doctrine, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. There's no other way to Christ. There's no other way to the Father. So I want to tell y'all, I got to bring correction. When you got laws passed, when you red zone, and this is from experience. I'm a business owner. I've been down this road trying to get contracts to certain companies. They saw my face and they turned me away. And it wasn't because I was trying to be a victim. It wasn't because I didn't apply myself and didn't work. Well, my white brothers and sisters, some of the worst examples of you are racist. That's just a fact. And yeah, we may have more opportunity but it's really not if we're not going any further. Y'all have had 400 years to get ahead of us. You've had free labor in this country. That you free labor. You owned the lands and made money off of that and sold and been able to sow and buy. You had the you capitalized on most of that. So those are 400 years plus of being able to capitalize, having free labor. That's a long time. Then you got to think about the mindset indoctrination of 400 years of making someone feel when they put the white doll and the black doll in front of a black child and say what child is better, and they pick a white doll. That is engineered. That is a engineered indoctrination of self-hate. That's not something that black people decided to do. That was a conditioning. We gotta be open to this. We gotta be honest with this. Ain't just something that this big ugly monster showed up in 2005. This was a conditioning. Not seeing positive black faces of example, but Muslim and Hebrew Israelite, or basketball, football, or basketball, football players, or rappers. When in fact there are many of them if we look it up and study. I'm not a victim. I don't feel like I can't get nowhere because I'm black, because I have a God that I can do all things through Christ. But there is a specific force working against the black men in this country. There's a force. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest about it. I got to be honest. I'm not going to sit up here and fake funk around. And you white brothers have to understand that. You may not want to understand it, but you better see it's true. You can sit back and spectate on your end and act like, no, y'all can't have the same opportunity. How do you know what opportunities we got? You're not us. You don't know what we got. Because if you look in any major city, that is any big major city, how many big major cities do you see a influx of successful black families? I want you to show me. Not no one out of 50, not no one out of 1,000. I want you to show me a whole neighborhood that's well developed, that's doing really well. You go to these programs, you show me where there's places where black folks are doing phenomenal. I will tell you two nations, the Nation of Islam. That's scary. And this is where the black boys are running to, because they're finding this is where I feel I belong. Because I don't belong over there in this and to them. I'm not to this white America. That's not my place. And when they're finding out information about our history and who are the real Israelites, who are the real people, none of these preachers are scared to say it. They're afraid to say it. And they're looking for somebody to speak up for them. These fatherless black boys that you got, that some of y'all have mentioned, they're looking for somebody to speak up for them. It's very important to see an example of what looks like us. But people don't get to tell us who we should look up to. I look to Jesus. And I love my white brothers and sisters. I definitely love my black brothers and sisters. That's why I'm so passionate and I get on them so hard, because I love you. To my black brothers and sisters, I ain't trying to be mean to hate you, because I love you. I'm hard on you. I'm like that on my son. But we so used to being coddled from our feelings, we can't handle it. But I want to tell you, white brothers and sisters, y'all need to come around and open. And I'm going to say something challenging. If that black pastor is living holy and living a standard, and you still struggling being up under a black pastor, you need to ask yourself why. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it because I'm a pastor. If you struggling sitting under a black pastor, not because he's black, but because if he's living holy and living, honorable and you struggling, you need to ask yourself that question. Because I've seen it where to some of to my white brothers and sisters, that they have a harder time with black people than they do with a homosexual like relationship. I've seen this. We don't say nothing. We don't say anything. We don't want to talk about this stuff. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not scared to talk about it. And I'm not saying this is a paintbrush, but I've seen this happen. And this is why I say, if you're going to talk about what's wrong with black folks, you better talk about your too. Because I'll tell everybody, I'll call all of it out. I'm neutral on every side. These white women love them some black men. I'm sorry, I have to say that. I have to say it. Been in school, brother minding his own business, she right up there in his face. And I got to bring balance to this conversation, because if I don't bring balance to this, we're going to end up in trouble. And because we only see rappers, and when you go to these Stellar Awards, you see the BET Awards, what do you see? What's being polarized and focused on? Lil Wayne, Drake and them, gangsta. And then there's some of y'all in the white community clapping too. Y'all love it. So we got to stop doing this moral battle, because there's corruption in all cultures, and we need to talk about it all. Because y'all, these cultures are lying. These moral compasses are lying. You're hiding a lot of dirt. A lot of stuff that's not being out in the open yet. And so I say this thing because I think it's important for us as a people. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I love my family. I love all people, but I'm going to be honest about all people too. Everybody that sits in the church is not holy. Everybody that has a platform is not righteous. Not all black people are bad and out here are being ugly, and not all white brothers and sisters are good and doing righteousness. It's not happening. That's why God said to judge us by the fruits. Not by the kind of bark you got, but what kind of fruit are you producing? What's in your heart? And I've talked to all of it. And the problem is why people are getting tired, and this term called black fatigue is because the ones who are louder and ignorant and crazy are being polarized. Those are the ones that get panels and deals. But who's giving them the platforms? Who's giving them the influence to be the focus on the whole community? Who's giving them that power? Who is the ones giving these contracts? When that girl was degrading that brother, gave her a $2 million contract from Nike. Who's behind these deals? We got to talk about all of it. One line on a brother says he raped her and he loses his career, and then 10, 20 years later she said, "Oh, I didn't do it. He didn't do that to me." That's in the white community. That's more often than not. They're saying more white women are on OnlyFans than black women, because you got to think about what women is more desirable. They say. We got to be honest about these conversations. If we're going to talk about it, we got to talk about all of it. And I'm like, for a community they say is doing so prominently well and has more opportunity, why are you on OnlyFans selling yourself? See, I'm going to talk about all of it. And I'm not a racist. I love everybody, but I hate sin. I hate wickedness in any color. And nobody gets a pass. I told y'all, I don't care who you are, I'm going to call it out. I want y'all to be tuning in with me. I'm going to be doing a panel, a mixed panel. It's going to be fire. There are going to be a lot of these issues come up on this panel. I want you to tune in. And like I said to my black brothers and sisters, I love y'all, man. You guys are y'all are home. I'm not better than you. But my job is to address us. My job is to help us. My job is to help you. I have a son and a daughter and a wife. So I'm not talking to y'all to tear you down. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you to talk up to you, not talk down. I'm right out here doing the struggle with y'all. I'm not sitting in no pretty gated community neighborhood. I'm not better than you. I'm just better off because I don't want to live. I want to give my kids a better way and show a better example. They ain't got to get on TV and look at somebody else and aspire to be like them. They can see their dad at home and look at me and say, that's who I want to be like. That's the man I want to marry when I get older, my daughter. Shouldn't have to get online. Shouldn't have to go out here and look for something on TV to see something that has some admiration. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. God bless y'all. And again, keep God in your heart. Looking forward to talking to you soon. God bless.